Good morning students. This session is for class 12th physics. Students, in last session we have completed Ampere's circuital law and their applications, that are magnetic field due to solenoid and toroid and their uses in different type of equipments. Okay. After that we have also solved questions based on the topic magnetic field due to solenoid and toroid. Students, in this session we are going to study the topic force between two parallel current, the ampere. You can also say that this is force between two parallel current carrying conductors. Okay, and after that we will define 1 ampere current. Okay, so let's start this topic, that is force between two parallel current carrying conductors. Okay, so you can see here we have learned that there exists a magnetic field due to a conductor carrying current. Okay, तो हम लोग जानते हैं कि if there is a current carrying conductor then there must be a magnetic field around this conductor which obey Biot-Savart's law. It means by using Biot-Savart's law we can find out the magnitude of the magnetic field produced by the current carrying conductor. Further, we have learned that an external magnetic field will exert force on a current carrying conductor. Okay, so we have completed this topic also, that is, if a current carrying conductor is placed in external magnetic field, it experiences some magnetic force. Okay, and the magnitude of that force was I BL sin theta, where I is current through the conductor, B is external magnetic field, L is length of the conductor, and theta is the angle between the conductor and magnetic field. So these follows from the Lorentz force formula. Thus it is logical to expect that two current carrying conductors placed near each other will exert magnetic force on each other. In the period 1820 to 25, Ampere studied the nature of this magnetic force and its dependence on magnitude of current, on the shape and size of conductors, as well as the distance between the conductors. So in this section we shall take simple example of two parallel current carrying conductors, which will perhaps help us to appreciate Ampere's painstaking work. Okay, so in this picture you can see, or you can see in the figure 4.20, these are two current carrying conductors and they are placed parallel to each other at some distance d. It means the separation between these two parallel conductors is small d, and these conductors are named as small a and b. Okay, now if current IA and IB are flowing through these conductors, then let us consider about these two. So you can see in figure 4.20 shows two long parallel conductors A and B separated by distance small d and carrying current IA and IB. Since these two conductors are parallel to each other, you can say these two currents are parallel. Okay, the conductor A produces the same magnetic field BA at all points along the conductor B. So since this one is a current carrying conductor, it must produce a magnetic field around its surrounding. It means around B, because B is very close to A. Okay, and the right hand rule tells that the direction of magnetic field is downward when the conductors are placed horizontally. So the magnetic field at this point is inward. Okay, in which this conductor is placed. So this one is inward, actually perpendicular to the plane of paper and inward. So you can replace or denote by cross. its magnitude is given by equation 4.19a. okay, so its magnitude is given by equation 4.19a or from Ampere's circuital law. You can find out the value of this magnetic field by using Ampere's circuital law, or you can direct use the equation. This one is the value, that is BA is equal to mu naught upon 2 pi I upon D. Since D is the distance of the conductor B from A, so we know that the formula of magnetic field due to a long conductor is given by B is equal to mu naught upon 2 pi. So this one is mu naught upon 2 pi into I upon distance between the two conductors. This is the formula. Okay, the conductor B carrying a current IB will experience a sideway force due to field BA. So since this conductor B is placed in a magnetic field produced by A, since this conductor, this one is conductor B, this conductor is placed in magnetic field, this one is in a magnetic field produced by this wire A, and the direction of this magnetic field is perpendicular and inward. Okay, so it must experience some force, that is magnetic force, and the magnitude of that force is given by, you can see here, the conductor B carrying current IB will experience a sideway force due to the magnetic field BA. The direction of this force is towards the conductor. By using Fleming's left hand rule, you can use that rule to find out the direction of the force acting on the conductor B. We label this force FBA, force on B due to A, you can say like that. FBA means force on B due to A. The force on a segment L of B due to A. The magnitude of this force is given by the equation 4.4. So let's see the equation 4.4. You can see this is the formula. FBA is equal to I into L. L is the segment of the wire or conductor B, and BA is the magnetic field produced by conductor A. Okay, so FBA is equal to IB, that is current, L is the length, that is segment of conductor B, and BA is magnitude of magnetic field produced by conductor A. Okay. Now you can use the value of BA, that is actually B is equal to mu naught, B is equal to mu naught upon 2 pi. So you can say B is equal to mu naught upon 2 pi I upon D, where D is distance. Okay, so since value of this value of B, that is B is equal to mu naught upon 2 pi into I upon D. Okay, so this is the formula, or this is the value of the magnetic field BA. Now this FBA is equal to mu naught upon 2 pi IA IB. After putting value of BA, this is actually BA, you will get this much in this equation. So the final equation for the force is given by equation 4.23. In this, the mu naught is the permeability of the free space, IA is current flowing through conductor A, IB is current flowing through conductor B, 2 pi is a constant term, D is separation between the two conductors, and L is the segment of the conductor B. Okay. Now it is of course possible to compute the force on A due to B from consideration similar to above. We can find the force AB. So in this section now we want to find out the similar force on A due to magnetic field produced by conductor B. Since both of conductors are current carrying, since this one is also have current and this one also have current, both of them has current, it means both of them produces magnetic field. Okay, both of them produces magnetic field. Now if both of the conductors produces magnetic field, both of the conductor produces magnetic field, so both of them exert force on each other. So the force on B, this one is suppose B and this one is A. So force on B due to A is given by equation 4.23. Now the similar equation for force on A due to B, force on A due to B, we can find out. So it is of course possible to compute force on A due to B from considerations similar to above. We can find the force FAB on a segment of length L of A due to the current in B. It is equal in magnitude, that is FBA, but opposite in direction. So we can write FBA is equal to minus FAB. The directions of force FAB and FBA are given by Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, so this is the equation. This shows that these two forces are equal to each other and opposite in direction. Equal means the sense equal in magnitude. Note that this consistent with Newton's third law. Thus, at least for parallel conductors and steady currents, we have shown that the Biot-Savart law and the Lorentz force yield results in accordance with Newton's third law. Okay, so note that this is consistent with Newton's third law. Thus, at least for parallel conductors and steady currents, we have shown that the Biot-Savart law and the Lorentz force yield results in accordance with Newton's third law. Now we have seen from above that currents flowing in the same direction attract each other. So by using Fleming's left hand rule and after checking the direction of force on the two conductors in which currents are flowing in the same direction, we found that if currents are in same direction, the wires or conductors attract each other. One can show that oppositely directed current repel each other, and it is also shown that if the current in both of the conductors are in opposite directions, they will repel each other. So in this case you can see current in both the conductors are in same direction, so they must attract each other, whereas when currents are in opposite directions, these are the current opposite direction, then they repel each other. So the direction of force are like that, they are opposite to each other. In this case they attract each other. Okay, so there is attraction when there is currents are in same direction, and repulsion when there is current are opposite direction in two parallel conductors. Now parallel currents attract and anti-parallel currents repel. So this is the conclusion for the attraction and repulsion of the force. This rule is the opposite of what we find in electrostatics. So this is the rule, this is opposite in the sense that if two charges are like, then there is repulsion, whereas if two current are in same direction, there is attraction. Okay, so this is in the sense for the like charges there is repulsion, whereas for same direction there is attraction. So like the same charges, or you can say same sign, charges repel each other, but like parallel currents attract each other. Okay, so these are the quite opposite to each other, you can see here. Now let FA represent the magnitude of force FBA per unit length. So this is the force per unit length, that means the magnitude of this force FBA. This is actually the vector quantity, so its magnitude is given by FBA. So this FBA is equal to mu naught IA IB upon 2 pi d. This is equation number 4.25. So you can see the equation. This is the actually the magnitude of both FBA and FAB. Okay, so you can write similar equation for vector FAB for its magnitude. Okay. Now the above expression is used to define the amperes. Amperes means we are going to define 1 ampere current, which is one of the 7 SI base unit. So we are going to define 1 ampere. The definition of 1 ampere current is defined from the situation we have already explained above. So let's start the definition of 1 ampere current. So the ampere means 1 ampere is the value of that steady current which, when maintained in each of the two very long straight parallel conductors of negligible cross sections and placed 1 meter apart in vacuum, would produce on each of these conductors a force equal to 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 newtons per meter of length. Okay, so this is very important definition, students. The ampere is the value of that steady current which, when maintained in each of the two long straight parallel conductors of negligible cross section and placed 1 meter apart in vacuum, would produce on each of these conductors a force equal to 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter. So if there are two wires parallel to each other separated by distance 1 meter and both of them have some current, suppose I, okay, they are very long conductors. So you can see the conditions to define these things. The two very long conductors, then straight, parallel and of negligible cross section and placed 1 meter apart in vacuum, then they produces force, that is 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter. This definition of amperes was developed in 1946 and it is a theoretical definition. In practice, one must eliminate the effect of Earth's magnetic field and substitute very long wires by multi-tone coil of appropriate geometry. Okay, so this definition was developed in 1946 and it was completely theoretical in nature. You have seen, because if you place this one in earth environment, there must be some earth magnetic field. That magnetic fields are ignored here. Okay, an instrument called the current balance is used to measure this mechanical force. So this mechanical force between the two current carrying conductors can be measured by instrument called current balance. Now the SI unit of charge, namely the coulomb, can now be defined in terms of ampere. Okay, so the SI unit of charge, namely the coulomb, can now be defined in terms of ampere. Okay, now this coulomb is defined in terms of ampere. So let us define this 1 coulomb, this is unit of charge, in terms of ampere. Okay, so when a steady current of 1 ampere is set up in a conductor, the quantity of charge that flow through its cross section in 1 second is 1 coulomb. So this is the important definition, and this is related to the 1 coulomb charge. So when a steady current of 1 ampere is set up in a conductor, the quantity of charge that flow through its cross section is in 1 second is 1 coulomb. Okay, so I hope you understand, since you know that Q is equal to I into time. Okay, now if I is equal to 1 ampere and time is 1 second, so Q becomes 1 coulomb. So this is written here. Okay, it turns out that when we have time dependent current and a change in motion, Newton's third law may not hold for forces between charges and our conductors. An essential consequence of Newton's third law in mechanics is conservation of momentum of an isolated system. This, however, holds even for the case of time dependent situation with electromagnetic fields, provided the momentum carried by fields is also taken into account. So this is the comparison between the mechanics and electrodynamics, you can say magnetism. This is actually the magnetism. So now we are ready to solve the question number, that is example 4.10. Okay, and if you remember the formula of the force on a current carrying wire in external magnetic field, then you will be able to solve this question. Let's solve this question. The horizontal component of Earth magnetic field at a certain place is 3.0 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla. So the external magnetic field is given, and the direction of the field is from the geographic south to geographic north. So direction of this field from south to north. A very long straight conductor is carrying a steady current of 1 ampere. Then what is the force per unit length on it when it is placed on a horizontal table and the direction of current is east to west and south to north? So let us see in the first case where it is east to west. So the formula for this case is F is equal to I L cross B, or you can write I L B sin theta. In magnitude, in terms of vector, you can write I L B sin theta n cap, but in form of magnitude n cap will be 1, so we write F is equal to I L B sin theta. Now force per unit length is F by L, so we can rearrange this equation such that F by L is equal to IB sin theta. Okay, now theta in this case is 90 because the wire is in the direction from east to west and magnetic field in the direction from south to north. So the angle between these two is 90 degree. So when the current is flowing from east to west, hence theta is equal to 90 degree, and hence F is equal to, that is F by L is equal to I into B. So I into B will be your answer, and that is 1 into 10, 3 into 10 to the power minus 5. It means 3 into 10 to the power minus 5 Newton per meter, because the unit of force per unit length is Newton per meter. Okay, so I hope you understand this question. Okay, so the first part of this question has completed, and the most important point to solve this question is, must remember this formula, that is formula for force on a current carrying conductor placed in uniform external magnetic field. In this case, the external magnetic field is given in this question, that is 3 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla, and horizontal field, and it is directed from south to north, and the direction of current is east to west. So the direction between the conductor and the magnetic field is 90 degree. So it does not 90 degree, so you can use here sin 90 is equal to 1, and F by L, that is force per unit length, is I into B sin theta. So I hope you understand this part of the question. Let's see the second part. This is the larger than the value 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter coded in the definition of the amperes. Hence, it is important to eliminate the effect of the Earth's magnetic field and other stray field while standardizing the amperes. So you can see this is the force in case of when we define amperes, 1 ampere, or you can say ampere, and in this case your result is 3 into 10 to the power minus 5. Okay, so this one is greater than this one. So only due to the earth magnetic field the wire experienced force more than the two wires in the situation of 1 ampere. Okay, so this is why we are explaining the things here. This is larger than the value of 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter coded in definition of amperes. Hence it is important to eliminate the effect of the Earth's magnetic field and other stray fields while standardizing the ampere. The direction of force is downward. This direction may be obtained by directional property of cross product of the vector. So you can use the property of cross product and you can find out the direction, or you can find out the direction by using Fleming's left hand rule. So the any one convenient method can be used, and after applying these laws or these rules you will get that the direction of the force is downward. Okay, so it is downward. Now the second case, when the current is flowing from south to north, it means the wire is placed in the same direction of the magnetic field, and in that case theta is 0 degree. It means they are parallel to each other. It means field and the current are parallel to each other. In that case theta is 0, and if theta is 0 then sin theta will be 0, and the formula F by L is equal to IB sin theta. So complete force is 0. Hence there is no force on the conductor. So when conductor is placed in the same direction of the magnetic field, it does not experience any force due to the magnetic field. But if it is placed at any angle except 0 and 180 degree, it will experience some force, and the magnitude of that force is given by F by L is equal to IB sin theta, where theta is angle between the conductor and the magnetic field. So the maximum force experienced by the conductor when it is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field, which we have already discussed in part A of the same question. In part A you can see the angle between the direction of the conductor The angle between the direction of the conductor and the magnetic field is 90 degree. This is the case where the force will be maximum on the conductor. Okay, so I hope you understand this question, and you understand the direction of force. So dear students, I am repeating the same statement, that is, try to revise the topics and try to derive the formula by yourself. Then only you will be able to solve the questions based on the application level and higher order thinking skill. If you are continuously solving the questions of higher order thinking skill and application based, you will get the deep knowledge of the similar concept, and you will be able to apply this similar concept in different situations also. So okay, try to solve questions as more as possible. Okay, and I hope you are studying hard at your home, because there will be board examination for you. So be serious about your studies. Okay, thank you for watching.